Hello, everybody, and welcome to the GFI Racing League podcast. This is our winner interviews episode. This aligns with week 12 and 9 for all of our series. Week 12 is our Cup series, and 9 for all our other three. Got 3 interviews for you in this episode. There's some pretty fun ones, so stick around. Hope you enjoy. Let's go ahead and get it kicked off with our Xfinity race winner, Kyle Purcell. All right, we're now with Kyle Purcell, winner of the Xfinity race at Talladega. He now drives the number 86 for Skewer Cat Racing, this new team. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that. But you won Talladega. That's pretty amazing. These races can be pretty random, and you were not in position on the last lap to win this. How did you make it all happen to get yourself into that position?
Well, the big thing is just have to be at least in touch with the main group. So after green flag pit stops, all that stuff, actually you and I were able to push hard to get caught back up to the main group after we came out of the pits kind of alone.
Dang
with
right.
people having trouble. So that worked out great. And then you also decided to clear yourself on somebody and
What?
turn yourself in turn 3 on the last lap, which caused me to check up, lose touch with the main group. And I'm pretty sure at the time I was like, man, I just lost my only chance of making a move. And then the entire group in front of me, except for one of the lap cars, crashed. So then I drove past them, hit the only guy that didn't crash and made him crash. But he was a lap car, so it's okay. And then I won. So yeah, it was just being in the wrong place at the right time, basically. Was not in position to win, like you said, and
Yeah.
sometimes it just get lucky. I mean, I earlier in the race, I was kind of controlling it at the front. I was pushing the leader of the bottom line, real life Talladega driver Joey Gattina. So I was helping control the pace at the front for most of the race. But yeah, like you said, at the end, just better be lucky than good sometimes. Those guys that were running up front and leading the field, just everybody wanted to try to win, and sometimes that makes none of you win, and that's kind of what we had.
You reminded me, oh yeah, I did do that. But I believe it is judgments that help you win races. I mean, your judgment's got to be within inches if you're going to make a move at the super speedways. That's how I think I kind of did it in ARCA last week. But and you spoke a little bit about the pit strategy and how we actually ended up pitting on the same lap. What was your pit strategy going into the race? What were some of your pre-race thoughts on this?
I just wanted to make sure that as long as, I just wanted to make sure that I didn't get caught having to pit extra times under green or anything like that, or give up too much track position at the wrong time.
Right.
So that's why there was one time I was the only person that didn't pit, and I was surprised because all the people at the front just giving up track position. If, you know, say the back half of the field stays out, you're now in 20th instead of second.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I ended up staying out alone because I only had to pit one more time. So if it went green, which it did, I just have to pit once and I'd be good. But then I was worried that I had so much less fuel, I'd have to take more fuel and pit earlier than some people might want to. So I was kind of lucky, honestly, that when I had to pit, you and a few others decided to come with, because if I was going by myself, I never would have seen the pack ever again.
Right. And on that last lap, seeing that you were out of position, what were your emotions in the car at the time? Did you think it was over?
Oh yeah. No, as soon as when I was further back and kind of trapped, I was like, oh man, I don't think I'm gonna have a chance to make anything happen. And then when you got turned, I was reviewing my own VOD of it, and yeah, I was pretty much just saying, man, that was lost any chance possible unless they all wreck. And then about 3 seconds later, I see a lot of smoke through the tri-oval, and I was just far enough away that I had time to react and time to find the hole and slip through.
Yeah, I hate it that that seems to be how we've come to finish our speedway races is under caution or with a big wreck at the end somewhere. I wish we wouldn't need to do that and could just have these clean green finishes, but people get too eager, and that's ultimately, I think, what does that. But
I mean, I was a fan of it this week,
of
so
course
maybe
you
we can be
were.
done after
Of course, yeah. I mean, yeah. I
that.
mean, if I win a race like that, ask me about it. Yeah, I'll probably talk a little differently, but it'd be nice to
Right.
see green flag finishes. That's what
Yeah,
we
no.
like in racing. And what is the next race you think you'll take the checkered flag and win that thing? I mean, you came pretty close in GT3 this week, which you ran.
Yeah, you know, I thought I had a chance in GT3 too, to be honest with you. Going into the race, I thought I had no chance, but then I managed to set the pole. I know Tyler said he had an issue coming onto his last lap there, and then made a six save to stay in it. Had a different pit strategy and just got stuck in traffic. So I don't know if I'm going to be winning GT3, especially if my teammate at Skewer Cat, Kyle Hain, is there, because he's definitely way better than me at GT3. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like any given week I have a chance in ARCA. I haven't really looked at the schedule too much for ARCA and Xfinity, but any given week in ARCA, I feel pretty okay about my chances. I should have won yesterday in the ARCA race at Iowa, but I did some maintenance on my pedals, some lubrication, and my foot decided to flip off of the brake pedal because I forgot that I should probably wipe down surfaces for overspray. And yeah, I trying to enter the pits hard on the brakes and slipped off and found a barrel.
Oh,
So
okay, Kyle Larson.
yeah, I felt like, Chris Wright took over the car for a second or something.
Well, I don't know if you saw this stat, but I believe if you just put it all together, good strategy, good driving, and all that in GT3, you might be able to get it done. You did set the fastest lap overall in the race, so it's not like you didn't have the pace.
Yeah, we were definitely flying at the end, just in the hunt trying to make back. I think we had about 9 minutes to make back 10 seconds or something after the pit stop because of tire strategy. I took tires, the leader didn't. And yeah, other than I came up on, there was maybe four other cars on track besides me and the leader, and three of them were between us. So that slowed me down enough. I'm, not very experienced in those cars, so I didn't want to mess up their race. They were battling for position, so I was a little more timid getting through them. But I think if I was able to slip by cleaner, or if they all just decided, you know what, let's not race, let's let him go, which obviously you can't expect or even say they should.
Hmm.
So if they had just happened to all drive off the track right as I got to them, maybe I think I would have been right on the bumper and had a chance to make a
Hmm.
move at least. But like you said, new to the series, new to trying to feel the car out, feel that track out, never raced at before, and overall hard to be mad about a P2 and a
Yeah.
fastest lap pole, all that. So definitely surprised myself. Excited to get Skewer Cat back on the back in victory lane in GT3, whether it's myself or other Kyle over there, Kyle Hain, or a potential third GT3 driver I may be bringing in this week. We'll see.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to it, and good luck to this new emerging team. Congratulations on your win. Is there anything else you wanted to mention before we get you out of here?
No, just mentioning again, Skewer Cat Racing. We're not actively recruiting, but if there's any Cup drivers that plan to run full-time Cup as well as participate in at least one of their series this season or next, you know where to find me. Just let me know. I'm always looking for some competitive, clean, not no drama type drivers to bring in. Me and Kyle Hain obviously running full time, but my hope is to have three full time Cup drivers. And Kyle obviously doesn't own all the tracks yet because he's pretty new to Oval. So if I can get at least one more full time Cup driver sometime in the next couple months, it'd be nice to really start making a run at team points next season.
All right. We'll be looking out for that. Congratulations on the win again. I'll be surprised if we're not talking to you next week. Thank you for your time. And until next time, good luck.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
That was another fun interview with Kyle Purcell. We're continuing to learn more about him as he continues to win across different styles of tracks and across different cars. Very good driver, and it's always fun to chat with him. Now let's get into our GT3 race winner interview with Tyler Carson, who had to battle with Kyle Purcell for that win. Pretty fun, so let's get into it. All right, we're now back with Tyler Carson on his dominating run to the championship. He drives the number 34 for Ascend Motorsports. He won the race this week at the track I won't try to pronounce again, and he led 23 laps of this race, started P2, drove the Audi R8 this week, switching it up. And my first question for you is, what was the challenge to take the lead in this race starting from P2? How did you make it up front? How'd you do that? How'd you pass that car, Tyler?
It was really just a ballsy move. It ended up taking the almost half of the first lap. It was just trying to stick a nose in there, force an error from Kyle.
Fair enough. And do you do well? I guess you don't do much of that since you're out front a lot, but push people into errors somewhat. That can be a useful tool in racing.
Well, I don't ever try to do it purposefully, like any sort of dirty move, but definitely trying to stick close in racing because I know I can I
Yeah,
have
like
the
race them
confidence
hard.
in myself. Yeah, I have the confidence in myself to stick it in and see if I can hold it on the inside, hold it on the outside type of thing. Just
Right.
compromise other people's corners. I do that type of stuff all the time. Usually towards the start of a race, but there's
Yeah,
a lot during this one.
never touching them is what I meant, but putting it in
Yeah.
places maybe they're not going to expect, and then that'll throw them off for the lap and possibly help you out.
Yeah, I do. You'll notice a lot. I try to focus corner exit rather than corner entry, so maybe a little bit slower, but I notice a lot of people are the opposite of me, so it does help me get my preferred lines coming in and out of it.
All right, hold on. I'm getting that down in the notebook as I try to get my one GT3 race this season win. All right, and my next question is once you got the lead, how'd you maintain it overall?
Well, I didn't. We ended up trading blows throughout the race. I went wide one turn. I think it was turn four, turn three or four. He capitalized on that because he was right behind me the whole time, but he ended up making another mistake a little bit later on, going off track, and I managed to get past him there just barely. He had a really nice save on that one to keep it on track.
What
But after that, it was really just there was no real good place to overtake at this track, so just making sure I stayed consistent, kept him behind me, didn't do anything too dumb.
and before anyone even signed up, before you even knew who any of your competition was, what were your feelings coming into the race? Just you and the track and what it all could be.
Well, everybody was posting their times in the GT3 race chat, and I mean, I was seeing some fast times. We had, I believe it was Kyle in there, Alex Johnson, Cliff was in there with the very similar times to me, so I was thinking it was going to be a real good race, which I mean it was. Kyle pushed it till the end. He had me a second and a half up the road from him, so it was really trying to make sure I stayed consistent throughout the race.
And it looks like you did. Congrats there. Did you expect another Kyle to debut and win again, or you weren't going to let that happen this time?
I was really trying to not let that happen. Kyle was talking himself down a lot. He was telling us that we were gonna walk away from him at the race start, all of that, but I didn't really see that happening. I was worried about him the whole time, and well, I had to be. But I was really trying to not lose two in a row. That one would have hurt.
Fair enough. You've been on a good streak of wins and on a good run to that championship. You've just got to jump Cliff in the points, and then you'll be set with it. So good luck chasing it. And how are you feeling for next week?
I think we're still doing Road America, but I'm not entirely sure.
And if we do hit Road America, how are you feeling about that?
We'll see. I honestly don't even know the layout of the track, so
It's a pretty fun layout.
it'll be Canadian Tire Motorsports all over again.
Hmm.
So I look forward to it. I like trying to get to learn new tracks.
All right, and wishing you the best of luck in the chase for your championship here. Thank you again for your time and the interview. Can't wait to talk to you next. Congratulations.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Of course. Always enjoy talking to Tyler. He's a fun guy to chat to and try to work on my strategy in GT3 and be a little quicker. He is one of our most talented and dedicated people in the GT3 series. He's got quite a few wins in the season, and it'll be interesting to see if he gets that championship in the next couple weeks. Cliff is in the lead of the points as of this week, so let's see how it changes up. Or if it changes up, maybe Cliff gets it, and that'll be very good to see as well. Let's now go ahead and get into our ARCA interview with Quint. First time interview here. All right, we're now with Quint Hightower, driver the number 45 for Velocity and winner of the ARCA race at Iowa this week. He started P2 and led 24 laps. It's his first win of the season. Congratulations. Welcome to the interview.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on here.
Of course. And this was a race that was a bit of a snoozer, no cautions, no real action for the average viewer there. And without any of these cautions, would you say that helped you maintain your position and more or less run off with this race?
Absolutely. I find that a lot of the time I don't really have too much short run speed. Long run is kind of where I excel. And that's me and Kyle started pulling away from the field a bit. That was a pretty fun battle with him, but yeah, it was having that ability to save tire and go in the long run definitely helped.
And Kyle started well, but ran into trouble. Do you think that you still had a good battle for him, even if he didn't hit these issues?
Absolutely. I don't know if I'd have still won if he hadn't had his issue, but I definitely would have been there. Started reeling him in towards the end of the first run, and I don't know how much of that was me saving and having tire left, and how much of that was him trying to save himself. But I do feel like at the end, if he wouldn't have had that happen, it'd have been an interesting race for sure.
And what is another track that you think you'll be back in victory lane?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. We've got some really, really, really good guys in this league. I just kind of I don't put my expectations too high any particular week. Even here at Iowa, where I was really, really good, I did not expect to win. But yeah, I feel like there may be a few tracks here and there that I might have something for these guys.
What might be the biggest track where your confidence pokes out more than any other track?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. I I don't really practice too terribly much for these races. I've got 3 leagues that I run in, and I also do race control on Saturday nights.
So there's nowhere that you're showing up and being pretty consistent at race after race, or?
Not particularly.
Okay.
I do know that street courses are not my favorite. I am not very good at the street courses. I don't mind places like Road America, Watkins Glen, or even like the Roval.
Okay.
But yeah, street courses are my kryptonite.
Okay, cool.
I like Michigan. I like Nashville Fairgrounds. Honestly, a lot of the big sweeping 1.5 2 mile tracks, I like running those. I'm pretty decent there. Like I was saying earlier, I don't expect to
Uh-oh.
win any of them, but I feel like those would be the ones that I would expect my.
Oh, we're losing them.
You got me?
I got you now. A little bit in and out.
Yeah. I was starting to hear it myself whenever you spoke up. Now I was just saying the 1.5 2 mile tracks, the big sweeping, very fast, high speed tracks. I'm pretty good there, pretty consistent. I don't expect to win any of those, but I do expect places like Michigan, Chicagoland, stuff like that. I'd be top 5, maybe top 3, but I don't want to put my expectations too high.
Okay, fair enough. I might have walked into Iowa with expectations a little higher than they should have been. I've actually got 5 wins there outside of the league in the truck. So I had a bit of confidence, but that ARCA car, boy, is it tight, and it just drives different from anything else. And I had no chance at performing how I do in the truck there. So I was a little bit bummed about that. But how did you figure it out? I mean, the car, it was a little tough, wasn't it? Did you feel that?
Honestly, Iowa, I fully expected it to be a little loose. In that last big update that iRacing had, they put out setup updates for the ARCA car. Like I said, I don't practice too much for these races. I might go in like an hour or 2 before, put in 30, 40, 50 laps of practice. But yeah, it was actually last minute for this one where I come in and just kind of tried to figure it out. I knew generally where my lifting points are. I knew where the bumps in the track are, what to avoid. But yeah, turn 4 was not nearly as treacherous as it is in any other car. It was a little tight, but I made sure to lift early, roll the bottom until, halfway 3/4 into it. Well after I reached my apex, roll back into the throttle, try and save, and it paid off.
Well, you did a really good job pulling it all together. And is there anything that you're feeling challenged about next week? Any track that you're like, oh, I don't know how this is going to turn out? Anything like that?
Charlotte. To be completely honest with you, that is my home track, and I don't do as well there as I hope.
Okay.
Something about that track, I end up burning off that right front like crazy, and I can't figure it out for the life of me. I do decent there, I tend to keep it out of the wall, but I'm just not as quick as some of these other guys.
One more question for you before we get you out of here. What's one thing other drivers could learn from you?
You don't need a several $1,000 setup to be good and have fun. I'm on a controller and I am enjoying the crap out of it.
Oh my God, I forgot that. I forgot you were that guy. Impressive.
I have indeed.
So,
that's.
Do you think that you'll be upgrading to a wheel at any point, or you're pretty comfortable how you're running?
For the foreseeable future, I've got some big expenses that I expect to be coming up, so I will not be upgrading to a sim rig just yet. But long term, I definitely want to get like maybe a Mosin R5. Heck, even something starter like a Logitech G920 or something. It's what I used to race on, and I wouldn't be upset with something like that.
Well, it doesn't look like you need to change the method since you can win. That's proven now. And you have done really well throughout the weeks. We've been talking about you, whether you're finishing in the top 3 or most improved position or whatnot. You've definitely been mentioned. So congratulations, finally pulling it all together and getting the win. Is there anything you wanted to say before we get you out here?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Fair enough. All right. Thanks for the advice. Thank you for your time. Congrats again, and have a good week next week.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on.
Of course. All right, that's going to bring this episode to a close. Hope y'all enjoyed those interviews. I know that I definitely did, and I hope that y'all learned something that can be useful on track if you're out there racing. Make sure you're tuning in Sunday for the next episode of the podcast, and then come back here Monday for the Cup Race broadcast, which will be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see y'all there, and then come back next Wednesday for some more winter interviews. Thank y'all for watching, and take care.